Thanks, Troy. It's back to school season, and for college students, it's a time to declare your major.
That's right, and if your little one, your child is thinking about the business of sports, the founder of the Black Sports Academy, Vincent Pearson, is here with us, and our friend Mark S. Lee with some tips for those considering going that route. So first off, let's talk about the Black Sports Academy. What is it, and what's the mission?
Well, our mission is to enhance the way students are learning about the business of sports, specifically HBCU students who want to break into said business. It's important to understand that this industry, sports and entertainment, is projected to grow into the hundreds and billions in the future. But we have to see ourselves as more than on the field or on the court. And so we teach the business behind the scenes.
You know, Mark, when it comes to business as a whole, as we heard, is going to be growing sports business. How important is it to the economies, these sports businesses and sports teams?
Yeah, let's look at it this way. Each of our local franchises bring in so much money into the local economy. And so a lot of times that's driven by what's going on behind the scenes, tourism, attracting people into the city, hotels and things like that. So the economic impact is in the millions of dollars. The challenge is we have a lot of these students, a lot of these people want to work in front of the cameras, right? They want to,
how dare they?
We saw them at the Olympics. They see the excitement of the Olympics, of course. But, you know, as someone who ran sports marketing for major organizations, talk about myself specifically, while I was negotiating contracts, there are a lot of behind the scenes work that really needs to get done. So the point is, it's an economic boon to local economies, but it's also a great opportunity from a career standpoint to work behind the scenes as well to get the exposure.
Yeah, and so, Mark mentions this, working behind the scenes and just the different career opportunities. What are some of the things that young people don't consider? You mentioned how important it is to think about jobs off the court, right, and off the field.
One thing our young people are running away from is sales, right? Understanding that this is the lifeblood of any industry. That transaction is ultimately where, where the magic happens. So we try to get exposure to sales especially, and getting people comfortable with the idea of sales. But then, as Mark mentioned, marketing, communications. I grew up in the diversity and inclusion space, so looking at community and social impact. But the idea for us is making sure that by the time you cross the stage, you're aware of all of this. So you're not making a career decision with limited knowledge, or even if you plan to pivot later in life, you can have that as a part of a 5-year plan.
Mark, what kind of impact does a project and a program like this have on a community?
It has a significant impact. Again, I'm a little bit more mature than everybody else. But when I was growing up in the city back in the day, right, we grew up, we just wanted to play basketball. We wanted to play baseball. We wanted to do whatever. We didn't even think about the business side of sports. So in our minds, my dream was to play at Tiger Stadium. I was a pretty good baseball player. I ran track in college. I didn't quite make it to the Olympics, so my teammates did. Okay, so my dream was to get to the next level. So from a business perspective, the impact is significant because now you're opening up the eyes and you're shifting the paradigm for these young people to say, not everybody's going to make it professionally. Okay? So the opportunities are there. So there's a huge impact on the minds of young people.
And how do you incorporate some of that real-world experience into a program like this when you're talking about making those industry connections that are so important?
100%. We leverage case studies. We're learning directly from professionals, from the NBA, from NFL. And even in a few weeks, we'll actually head down to Atlanta Motor Speedway, where we'll visit with NASCAR and get behind the scenes and see the operations of a race day. And I love this because, to Mark's point, we're getting beyond the court or the field. We're actually going to be at a racetrack. How many people have listed that as their top choice? But it's a big part is because they're not exposed, right? And so we're creating that exposure. And there are also long days. That racetrack, we'll be there from about 11 a.m. to, maybe 8 p.m. So
it's a hot, long day at a
absolutely.
racetrack. So as this program's growing, what are some of the rewards you've taken out of this, seeing it grow and seeing the kids who are in it?
It really started as a passion project, but we're seeing our students are working at ESPN. We've got folks at NFL. We had an alum here with the Lions. So watching them grow into their careers and turn around and start mentoring other students, it's seeing that, okay, we're really creating a system here that's going to impact just the way our community learns about sports.
One of the things I really like what you're doing too is you have an emphasis on HBCUs. Talk about that briefly.
That's really important. As I grew up at HBCU, I went to Virginia State University in Richmond, or right outside of Richmond, Virginia. Bringing this education to campus, to our students who make that commitment to an HBCU was really important because we identified a gap in terms of the learning experience. And so we wanted to be intentional about filling that gap and ensuring that you are getting a real look at what the sports industry brings career-wise while you're on campus at an HBCU.
Yeah. All right, great conversation, Vincent, Mark. We appreciate you both stopping by. Thank you so much.